Hey guys, Ducky here. Here to do, I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a rapid fire review day. So let's start with the Cold Steel Large Luzon. This is the big one with the 6-inch blade. See? Let's try a different angle. Well, this isn't really working, is it? 4 to 10 gives us about 6 inches. Yeah, good enough. Closed length, we're looking at 4. Yeah, make it easy for myself. This is very unscripted, kind of doing this spur of the moment. 7 3/4 closed. So this is a fairly sizable blade. And for those interested, coming in at 9.2 ounces. The action on this is actually quite good. It's a very positive flick. I kind of do it a little differently. I use this part of my finger instead of the fingertip. It's just more comfortable that way. The wave opening feature does work very nicely. Don't know why I bothered to demonstrate it, but yeah. Pocket clip, single position. I don't have another one. I don't think it came with one. I think you probably have to reach out to Cold Steel to get one. It has that, I think they call it the double safe lock, paired with just your typical liner lock. Now, of note, mine has developed a bit of lock rock, but that's probably just me goofing around with it. This isn't your bushcrafty style blade. This is pretty much strictly a defensive combat style knife. Mind you, throw that safety on. You could probably use this on some vegetation, but I'd stay away from anything woody. We'll do a quick size comparison with the only knife I have in its size range. The XL Voyager. Actually pretty comparable, but this is pretty much half the price. So, kind of got to pick your poison on that. The triad lock, really nice, but if you do not need serious lockup, or realistically I should say, if you do not need a fixed blade, this is more than sufficient. For regular everyday tasks, this is more than enough. If you're gonna, be a little rough with it, throw that safety on and you should be fine. If I turned it off, I'm trying to close it. Actually, we'll do one more size comparison with another Cold Steel. One that also has that same safety feature, the Slockmaster. Yeah, this one's a little tiny in comparison. I mean, this thing's big enough that I can get 2 hands on, and I wear large size gloves, though I got bony hands, so they're a little baggy. But yeah, 2 hands, so you can really get into it. Overall, this is a fun knife. Definitely not for everyone, and obviously you can't even carry this in some places. Technically, I can't even carry it, but I don't particularly care. Thumb studs. Not really the best positioning. Not really a slow roll knife. It's pretty much meant for the flippers to be used. It's got a very strong D10. I'm not even going to try to use my middle finger to flick it open. It's probably going to be hard to see. Centering is okay. How's the coating holding up? definitely got a little bit of wear on the tip. I did damage the edge. Dropped it on some concrete, so that's entirely my bad. HCR 13 MOV, perfectly fine steel. Anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is honestly being a bit of a snob. Is it the best blade steel in the world? Absolutely not. But it's definitely better than some of the other ones on the market. Namely 3CR, the 7CR that Gerber works with their terrible heat treat, that sort of thing. But all in all, it's a pretty good looking blade if you're into that kind of thing. Definitely not for everyone, but at the price, it's kind of hard to beat. This is a lot of knife for what, like 45 bucks? I think I've seen these going for like 38 in some places, possibly less, but budget about 45 for one of these and you'd be sitting pretty good. Anything you don't spend can go towards lubricants, a nice sharpening stone, something like that. The tip though, this is definitely a stabber more than a slasher, but it's got the reach to do whatever you want. Makes you feel like a ninja almost. This is definitely a bit more of a novelty than a dedicated EDC, but it's a good entry point into the XL folding knife market. I'd say a close competitor to something like this would probably be the Kershaw Strata XL, but that I don't think has as thick of a blade, though this is actually not a super thick blade. This is pretty average for a folding knife. But overall, I do think this would be a better defensive option than the Strata just because of the action. The Strata only has the flipper tab, I believe, but this has the flipper tab, the wave opening, and a thumb stud if you want to go that way. This also comes in a couple of different colors. I think quite obviously you can see which one I went with because I don't have many orange knives. Orange ain't exactly one of my favorite colors, but come on. This thing looks like a fucking Halloween knife. How can you say no? It's really difficult to say no if you have the money to burn. All in all, I'd have to give this an honest score of like a 3.5 for its size and for what I need. This isn't it, but if I had to give it, just a regular review score, I'd give it maybe a 4.2 out of 5. There are definitely some room for improvement. The lockup could be better. Frankly, I think a liner lock for this application wasn't the right choice, but it does make it pretty quick. So take that for what it is. I am not a martial artist, nor am I a professional bushcrafter. I mainly just use this to break down pallets for firewood. Is it the right tool for that? Absolutely not. But for only developing a little bit of rock and still having the tip, which is, let's get a closer look at that tip without cutting my hand. That is a pretty decently precise tip, all things considered. We'll compare it to the Slockmaster for funsies. Yeah, the Slockmaster's got a little bit of a fatter tip. So I would be a little worried about this snapping off, but Cold Steel's usually pretty good about their heat treats. So again, take that for what you will. I'd just be aware of the fact that the tip will likely snap off long before anything else on this blade fails, especially if you actually use this correctly. all in all, a very unscripted review of the Cold Steel Luzon. I recommend it, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Thanks for watching.